Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to another Modix video. Today, I wanted to go ahead and release this video going over the 1.09 patch notes. This was a pretty big update, and so let's go ahead and get right into it. So as you can see, we got agent updates to Omen, Jett, Viper, Reyna, and Brimstone. We got a weapon update to the operator. Can't wait to see those changes. All the weapons got updated. And then Riot ID review is now added, so I'm really interested to see how that specifically works. But let's start with agent updates. So to start, we have Omen. His paranoia got updated with VFX to better represent its hitbox, especially when it's traveling towards your POV. We're keeping an eye on the overall power level of paranoia, but as a first step, wanted to resolve visual issues where players hit with paranoia appear outside of its impact on their screen. So just a small little bug that they fixed up there. And now with Jett, her Blade Storm burst fire. The second between consecutive burst fire has been increased from 0.33 seconds to 0.45 seconds. Daggers thrown in bursts now have a damage fall off that begins at 12 meters and drops steadily to 35 damage at max fall off. So now it might be like less likely to die with Jett's Blade Storm. So that's kind of nice. And then her headshot multiplier on burst fire was reduced from 3 times to 2 times. While we continue to investigate some of her outsized strengths, we think that the burst fire on her Blade Storm has been overperforming at long ranges. The burst fire is intended to be a close range attack, but we found it frequently getting frags at over 20 meters away. These changes aim to rein in its effective range while retaining its close range potency. So pretty good changes. I overall really like those changes, but let me know what you guys have to think in the comments of this video. Now moving on to Viper, it looks like she's going to be getting even more changes. Hopefully they're trying to make her more of a playable agent, but we're just going to have to wait and see. So while Viper is stronger than ever, her overall impact is lower than we'd like. This round of changes continues in small vein as patch 1.07, increasing her flexibility, especially when trying to play with teammates. So for fuel, Viper now starts the round at 100 fuel, which was previously 50. Now that Viper can place her wall pre-round, we want her to be able to act with her team right as the barrier drops without the tension of also trying to maximize her fuel for an initial move. Her Snakebite. Vulnerable debuff applied from Snakebite now lingers for 2 seconds after leaving Viper's acid. Immediately dropping the vulnerable debuff upon exit wasn't creating the threat we've hoped for when we added it. This change should make the Viper and team advantage window more realistic, as well as project a unique threat on opponents playing around it. For Viper's Pit, move speed double while casting. Viper now fast equips her weapon after casting. Re-equip times vary per gun, but on average will reduce her weapon downtime by 0.4 seconds. That's one change that I really noticed whenever I was playing Viper for that time before Killjoy actually came out. Like when you popped her ultimate, you like had to go through the animation a good bit. So now they're finally changing that, and I really like that. Now moving on to the Reyna changes, her Empress got changed. Fire rate bonus decreased from 25% to 15%, so now you're actually shooting a bit slower. And here's what the devs had to say about it. At its previous fire rate, we felt Empress was too affected when using heavies / SMGs and too fast to master the change in spray pattern on rifles. We hope this change allows us to address both issues at once, while also giving us a chance to have a unified fire rate increase, matching Brimstone's stim that is below, that players can learn and master. So they're talking about the Brimstone changes with the stem beacon. Fire rate bonus increased from 10% to 15%. So now that stim beacon is going to do just as much as Reyna's ultimate, which is pretty nice. So the weapon updates, let's talk about those right now. Before you jump to press that send button, please read our thinking behind the operator changes below. The operator's been a frequent talking point around the community in the last few patches, so bear with us. The operator serves an important role in Valorant. It provides the most difficult tactical challenge for teams to overcome, requiring strategic planning and clever utility use. We've been taking a long look at the weapon to try to understand the best way to adjust some of its outsized strengths while ensuring it remains the most powerful angle holding weapon in the arsenal. For you aggressive operators, dry peeking angles with an operator is noticeably more effective than we'd like, especially when jump peeking. Additionally, pushing an operator off of an angle with utility feels less valuable since the user is able to re-peek and kill their opponent at a reliable rate. This suite of mechanical changes, dead zone, scope, move speed, firing rate, equip time, jump land accuracy, targets these issues, increasing counterplay around high mobility operator play. The operator is still quite potent at peeking angles, but predictable re-peek should be easier to punish. Regarding operator access, we're seeing some of you obtain the operator plus armor combo as early as round 3 and snowballing that lead into additional ops throughout the half. The new price point delays the operator's appearance and increases the penalty for dying with one in hand. We hope to better balance the risk/reward of using this premium weapon. A related note on breaking angles with abilities. Many abilities in the game are built to aggressively take angles, especially when a powerful weapon like the operator is posted on that angle. The recent changes to Breach have given players access to more powerful angle breaking utility, but it still feels like more needs to be done. We're looking at a few changes for a couple of agents, but they'll need some additional reps internally to build confidence around them. Expect more from us in the future. And that's from Max Orkane Grossman, the lead agent designer. So now let's go ahead and look at the operator changes. First, they increased the price from 4,500 credits to 5,000 credits. So that's kind of a lot. That's almost half of your overall economy if you have max money. And then they decreased scope movement speed from 76% to 72%. They adjusted weapon dead zone from becoming inaccurate at 30% movement speed down to 15%. This means that you become inaccurate sooner, become accurate later when stopping. And then the firing rate reduced from 0.75 to 0.6, so now that shoots even slower. And then for the instant equip time adjusted from 0.3 seconds to 0.5 seconds. This means that like right when you tap an orb or you try to like tap bomb or just try to plant the bomb, then this is going to be increased. And now leg shot damage decreased from 127 to 120. So now you're not able to kill somebody if they bought any type of armor if you shoot them in the legs. And then for all weapons, we've noticed a trend where players landing from a jump are able to shoot accurately sooner than is reasonable. While this issue is most pronounced on the operator, it is something that we've noticed across all weapons. Jump peeking is valuable for the mix-up potential it provides, but it was proving too difficult for players to reasonably deal with. These changes retain the mix-up potential while slightly increasing the time before the peeker can fire with perfect accuracy. So these changes start with jump land inaccuracy state changed from gradual to binary. Jump land inaccuracy duration increased from 0.2 to 0.225. And then jump land inaccuracy value increased from 5 to 7. And that means that it's more inaccurate for 0.225 seconds after a land. For the competitive updates, during this patch, the chances of being in an hour plus queue should be notably reduced. This is already a very rare occurrence, but it can happen more often for high ranked players, especially in pre-made groups. We are also doing some tuning behind the scenes to keep high rank matches found after long queue times reasonably balanced and fair. And now here are the Riot ID reviews in social updates. Players that have been reported for inappropriate Riot IDs will now be reviewed automatically after that match is ended. If their name is flagged as inappropriate, they will be forced to change their Riot ID the next time they log in to the Riot client. They removed multi-blind breaks in chat. Some sneaky people were impersonating system messages to troll others into quitting a match enough. Oh no, that's funny. And then changes to party push-to-talk settings will now take effect immediately. The chat window can now be pinned to stay open across menus. And then social panel sorting logic. Sorting algorithm for the social panel has been updated to make it more intuitive for players as they interact with it. Just 3 bug fixes. We're going to go ahead and talk about them. They fixed an issue where Sova's hitbox was incorrect while using his owl drone. fixed a bug where Omen's glowing eyes weren't properly removed when he canceled his ult, and then they fixed a bug where custom game preferences would be wiped after navigating away from the custom game lobby. And that wraps it up for all these patch notes. It was way long. It was a really big patch, so that's why this video is a bit longer. I don't want to stretch it anymore. So if you enjoyed, just like the video. That's all I ask. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next one.